In this video, I'm going to introduce to you an open source wiki platform called DokuWiki, which has been around for nearly 20 years. It has solid features, stable code base, and a large ecosystem of plugins that's going to greatly extend its capabilities. I'll walk you through how to install DokuWiki on your cloud hosting, how to use it, and I'm going to recommend some plugins that you're going to want to install right away to get the most out of the platform. I'm excited, so let's get started. Just to start you out, if you're not familiar with the platform called DokuWiki, it is a simple to use and highly versatile open source wiki software that does not require a database to operate. Before we jump into our demo, I wanted to hit some quick DokuWiki features. The first one, like we mentioned before, that there is no database that's required to run DokuWiki. It's all text files in folders on your server, which is really great for backing up and moving your wiki from one server to another. You're going to get really granular access controls to enable your users or groups to be able to view, create, or modify pages or namespaces. Next is the collaboration features. DokuWiki has unlimited page revisions, a way to compare versions side by side and have a detailed revision history. DokuWiki has a really simple markup language that you can use that's really well documented that makes it accessible for technical and non-technical users. There's a large and active plugin ecosystem, and within the DokuWiki interface, it's really easy to install and manage your plugins. And lastly, the language support is really great in that it supports 50 different languages, so this can be used all over the world. With that really quick overview, let's jump into our demonstration of installing DokuWiki on our cloud server and looking at the core functions and some plugins I would recommend to get installed before building your wiki out. Here we're in our Scala Hosting S-Panel dashboard. If you're not familiar with S-Panel, it's Scala Hosting's proprietary server-side software that's really clean and easy to use. The plan I have here is called Entry Cloud, which gives me access to all of the advanced features for cloud hosting that we'll need to install the variety of open source apps that we want. I have a full training on S-Panel at openappguide.com that you can watch. That's going to show you how to set up your account and manage it. To install DokuWiki, we're going to need to follow a couple of steps. I think you're going to be surprised how quickly it is to install DokuWiki. We're going to set up DokuWiki as a subdomain to our main domain, because that's typically how I think you're going to want to set this up, is to have your main domain, probably a content management system, if that be WordPress or Joomla, and then have DokuWiki as a support to your main domain. The first step is to upload our DokuWiki installation files. So we can either do that with our FTP client, or we can access it directly through the file manager in S-Panel. The file manager in S-Panel is quite capable, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that. So there's file manager right there. Now this is the directory structure for this account. I have several accounts here that are hosting different applications. This one right here, Cue the Past, this is this directory structure. And if I go into public HTML, you can see that we have Joomla, Moodle, and WordPress all installed on this one account. So what I need to do is create a new folder. This new folder is going to be our DokuWiki folder, and I'm going to drop in our installation files. If you want to get the latest installation file for DokuWiki, just go to the DokuWiki homepage and click download. It's a very small file. It's under 4 megabytes for the whole application, which just goes to show how light this application is and how efficient it's going to run on your server. So what I need to do now is extract this archive file into this directory. So I'm going to click up here, extract, and I'm going to go to the base HTML directory, because we've already created a folder. And so here are the contents of that folder. Now that we've done that, let's go back to our S-Panel dashboard. Now let's set up a subdomain and have it point to the directory that we just created. So let's go down here to subdomains. And you can see we have one already for WordPress and Moodle. We're just going to create a new one here. We're going to say DokuWiki, and that's going to be DokuWiki at cuethepast.com. This is not the right folder for that, so let's go ahead and browse and point it to the right directory. So we're going to go to public HTML because our folder's in there, and right there, that is the folder. And we're going to use the default PHP version of 8.1. That's the one for our server, and we can modify that later. So let's go ahead and click Add Domain. All right, so now you can see that that's been created there, and it's pointing to the right folder there. If we were installing a lot of other open source apps like WordPress and Moodle, then at this point we would have to make the step of creating a SQL database and a user for that database and use those credentials during the installation process. But because DokuWiki doesn't use a database, we can just go right to the installation process. So to do that, let's copy this domain and we're going to pop it right there. All right, installation complete. It's all the way done. Now we have our platform, which is really fantastic. There's nothing more that you need to do. You just open the page and it's right there. One thing that you might have noticed is this notification here, not secure. That's because as soon as we create our subdomain in sPanel, it's going through the process of assigning it an SSL certificate automatically. We just need to give that a couple minutes, and that's gonna be a secure HTTPS connection to our DokuWiki. So it is true that when you extract the files on your server and you go to that URL, it's automatically going to work and display like you see here, but the admin hasn't been set up yet. So what you do need to do is replace this part of the URL with an install.php right there, and then that's going to take you to the installer page, and really this is it. You just have to put the name of the wiki, your super user and information there, and save it, and once you're done, then your site's ready to go. Now, as a last step, I need to go back into our sPanel file manager and delete this install.php file because anybody could come along now and make themselves an admin. So if we delete that, then it makes that impossible. So if I go over here to our file manager, public HTML, and our DokuWiki folder, then we go down here to install.php, and let's go ahead and delete that guy. All right, so with that deleted, now we have our DokuWiki site all set up with the login enabled for an admin user. That install was so fast that I think we have some time to review the basics of DokuWiki, and then later I'm going to show you some of my favorite plugins that I would install immediately to just get you started on your wiki journey. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to log in here with my credentials. As you can see on the home page here that this topic doesn't exist yet, and that's because we need to actually create the page. So if I wanted to create a page, then I'd go up here to this pencil and plus icon here, and I would say this is the home page here. And if I wanted to create additional pages, because this is a wiki, then I would just put brackets and say sub page here. And I could name this whatever I wanted, but let's go ahead and save this. So that's created this page and a link to another page. If I click on this, then it's going to take me to this notice that says this topic does not exist. Then I need to go through here and create this. So once I've done that, now it's created a new sub page there. So that's how you create pages in DokuWiki. If I wanted to create a category to put my pages into, or a namespace, that's wiki speak for category, then I would go over here and I would edit my document and I would put in my brackets. And this right here would be the namespace, and this would be the page inside of this namespace, right? Or category. So let's go ahead and save that. You can see it turns red because this page has a link created, but the page hasn't been created yet. So If I click on that and I say hello there and click save, then you can see that it's created this page. But over here on the top right, then you can see the category 1 is our namespace, and there is our page right there. When we create pages and namespaces within DokuWiki, it's not going into a database. They're just text files that are going into the folder structure of the wiki. So to show you what that looks like on the server, I'm going to go back to our file manager, and within our public HTML and our DokuWiki folder, I'm going to head down here to data and then to pages right here. So you can see we have our start page that we created initially, the sub page that we created, we actually named it sub page, and the category 1 that we created. If we go in there, then you can see that page1.txt is sitting right there. Now, because these are just text files, I can come in here and edit these files and save that. Now, when I refresh the page, it's going to give me my updates, and you can see them updated here. Now, the syntax to formatting your DokuWiki pages is quite simple, and if you wanted to get a full view of all the different types of syntax, then you can go over here to edit your page, and there's a link right here that you can use that's going to give you a full breakdown of all the different syntax that you can use. You can also access some of the syntax in this menu right here, or you can do it by hand. So if I select this and I click the bold button, then this is the syntax for making something bold. If I highlight this text right here and I put in 2 equal signs on either side, that's going to give it a heading. And if I say link right here, then I can go over here and have it, let's link to this page right here. Then you can see that it's created a link right there. So this is the default editor. I'm going to be showing you a couple other editors that are going to be better for you, but this gives you a pretty good idea. So let's go ahead and save that. And you can see that it's bolded our text, given this a header, and also created a link right there for us. DokuWiki has a really good page versioning system, and if I wanted to see different versions of this page and compare them, then I can go over here to older versions, and let's do this new one versus the old one, and then we can say show the differences between, and it'll give you highlighted some of the changes that have been made. If you want to see how your wiki is structured, you can go over here to the site map, and you can see our category 1 and our page 1 along with the other default namespaces that have been created. Next, I'm going to show you around the admin area. So up here at the top is the admin menu. From the admin interface, you have the ability to, right here at the top, control the content and who can see the different types of content. So this page right here is set to the all group. You can define different types of user groups, assign people to those user groups, and then assign each page or category or namespace to a particular user group. You're able to change the configuration of your site. There's a ton of settings, as you can see here. I'm not going to be going over any of these in depth, just to know that they're there. The extensions manager is where you're going to be installing different plugins. The plugin library is all listed right here. You can do in-depth searches on different types of plugins that you want to have installed, and you can install them directly from this interface, which is really great. You can adjust the theme style of your template. Now this page is going to change. If you get a new template for your wiki, then all of these options will change. And right here, user manager. So this is where you can create new users and assign them to user groups. That gives you a really quick overview of how to create pages and namespaces, where you can find those text files on your server, and an overview of the admin area. So let's go ahead and install a couple of plugins that you're going to want to install before you do anything else with your wiki. So the first one that I'm going to install from the extension manager, I'm going to go over here to search and install, is going to be a Bootstrap theme here. So if I search Bootstrap, then it's going to come right here with the Bootstrap 3 template. So let's go ahead and install that. So now that that's been installed, I'm going to go over here to my admin area and configuration settings. And then I'm going to go right here under template and pull down and select Bootstrap 3. And then click save. You can see here that this has given us a pretty significant facelift on our wiki. So now if we go to our start page, this is going to be a lot more cleaner way to look at our wiki. To give our wiki more Bootstrap components to work with, I'm going to go over here to Extensions Manager, and then I'm going to search for the Bootstrap wrapper. So it's this one right here. If I go ahead and install that. Now, if I go over here to the docs link, then this is going to give me an idea of all the different things that this is going to do for us. It's going to allow us to have buttons and alerts and text, tooltips, and different things like that. And here is all the syntax for all of those. So let's go ahead and try a couple of these. I am going to copy this guy right here. I'm going to go to one of our pages here, and I am going to drop this in, and then let's grab a couple more of these just to give you an idea of what these look like here. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. Once you install the Bootstrap template and you're using the Bootstrap wrapper, that's going to give you access to all of these really cool formatting things for your wiki. This really starts to come together and start to look really polished. Next, let's install a new WYSIWYG editor. So let's go to Extension Manager, and under Search and Install, I'm going to search for Prose Mirror. And that's it right there. So this is actually two of them right here. This one is a nice WYSIWYG editor, and this is also another WYSIWYG editor that you can choose from. So let's go ahead and install this one. And then let's go ahead and install this one as well. If we went to one of our pages here and clicked on the edit button, you can see how all the buttons have changed because of the template. But if I click on the edit button, you can see we have this editor right here that looks completely different and gives us a lot more options. If I were to go back to the admin and our extension manager, I have the ability to turn on and off these editors. So if this one right here, CKG edit, I'm going to go ahead and disable that one. And then I'm going to go over here. This is the other one that we have here. I'm going to go ahead and enable that. So that's the other one that we installed. So let's go back to our page here and refresh. And you can see here, this is the other editor with its own set of tools and options for you to edit pages. So just a couple more plugins that we're going to want to look at under the extension manager. Let's do a search and install for the Move plugin. This one right here, this Move plugin is really great because it allows you to move pages and namespaces while maintaining the link structure. So we're going to go ahead and install that one. Now, if you go back to your admin and you scroll down, you can see the Move Pages and Namespace tool is right there. And this is the interface for that. Next one, we're going to search for one called Video Share. This one is going to allow us to easily embed videos into our content. So right here, Video Share. Let's go ahead and install that one. There again, if we take a look at the documentation, this is going to tell us what the syntax is. So if we copy this and let's go back to one of our pages here, click Save, then you can see that it has embedded a video right there inside of our wiki. Fairly easily too. I'm going to send you off and allow you to try a couple of more plugins on your own, but I just wanted to call them out here. This one, Cat List, is a really good one for being able to display categories in your content. Also, Page List. This one right here is a really good one. And right here, Backup Tool will allow you to back up your whole wiki right there. So I'll allow you to try those out on your own. There are hundreds of plugins that are in the library that you can search and install here. The DokuWiki code is really stable, so you're going to see some plugins that have not been updated for a while that still work great, and they're going to get more updates in the future. The ones that I've listed are fairly standard plugins and will seemingly be here forever. You do need to be wary of relying on plugins for core functions of your site. Like if you uninstall the plugin, then it breaks your site. I've seen some wikis not be able to move past a version and get stuck in like 2017 because they have a dependency on a plugin that is no longer being developed. All right, thanks for watching. That should give you everything you need to decide if DokuWiki is right for you and for you to jump right in and get started. For more open source quick start training, go over to openappguide.com.